going on, people? Back with a bang. This is the Money Management, back here to bring you guys not a Monday motivation, but instead 5 different stocks to watch out for this week going into June, and yeah, overall for the whole month, to be honest. Now, I know a lot of you guys come here for the Monday motivation, so I would like to say I'm sorry that this video is not Monday motivation today, but I thought I'd just take advantage of the bank holiday weekend and the Memorial Day weekend, and instead of making Monday motivation, make a video for those of you who are stock watchers and for those of you who prefer looking at stocks or wondering what stocks to watch during an upcoming trading week. So it seems like in the past couple of weeks, we've seen a bit of signs of growth stocks coming back to life. Of course, there was a couple months period of their horrible sell-offs. And even during the middle of May, there was a bit of a shaky period of time where stocks sold off really badly. But indeed, it seems like growth stocks are slowly coming back. So I'm giving you guys these 5 different stocks to watch out for this week and also the rest of the month, but also a few different bonus stocks at the end of the video for you guys to watch out for. Now, before we dive into these stocks and the breakdowns and the analysis, all that stuff, I would like to ask you guys, please do drop me a thumbs up today. As you guys know, it is not easy to continue editing these videos, making these videos, researching before these videos, all that stuff. Please do drop the thumbs up, and also make sure you guys comment on the video. Let me know your thoughts on what stocks could do what going forward. Let me know if you're invested in any of these stocks. Also, just let me know your thoughts on the video in general, or just comment for the algorithm. And add to that, make sure you guys share these videos with your friends, because it helps more people understand a little bit more about the stock market. It could help other people creating their watch list for tomorrow when the market opens. And yeah, lastly, I'd like to say, make sure you guys hit the red button below and subscribe to the channel. You're going to get more videos like this in the future if you just subscribe to the channel. Whereas if you don't subscribe to the channel, you run the risk of missing those videos. So yeah, please do hit the red button and hit the notification bell so you know whenever a video is posted. But now for today's video. Again, today the market is closed. So happy Monday to you guys. That's one less trading day we get this week. But tomorrow is back open and we're ready to see stocks rally in June. So the very first stock we want to talk about today, of course, which else? AMC Theaters, ticker symbol AMC. Now, you guys know about this stock. If you don't know about this stock and you're invested in the market, then I'm not sure what you've been doing. But AMC has been rallying recently. Last week, it had a ridiculous week. I'm not even sure to where to start with this one. Last week, Monday, it was at around $12.08. And Friday, just after the market open, it hit highs as $36.72. Now, that is not a double up. That is more than 3 times, 3xing within 5 trading days. That is ridiculous for any stock in this world. And you guys know about the hype around the short squeeze around this. And one thing I'd like to highlight is June could be another interesting month for AMC. Now, to be honest, for AMC, I could do a whole video on AMC just alone. But what I'd like to take a look at here when it comes to AMC is another stock that I was involved in when it comes to a short squeeze. And that was Gamestop earlier this year. So let's look at a couple of those events and see how we can relate it back to AMC, especially for those of you who may have bought in at the end of the week, towards the end of the week, in the high 30s or in the 30s at all. Don't worry, there's still hope for you, there's still time for you. So let's look at the Gamestop squeeze from earlier this year. January 12th, Gamestop closed at $19.95. January 13th, Gamestop opened at $20.42 and closed at $31.40. January 14th, now this is when I started to invest, it closed at $39, around that area. January 21, it closed $43. Now Friday, I remember this Friday, January 22nd, it closed at $65. And I felt kind of bad that day because I had purchased call options about a few days before when GameStop was still in the 30s. And GameStop actually rallied that Friday, January 22nd. It rallied to like highs of 70 something before falling back down. And I kind of felt disappointed that I didn't sell. I thought to myself, a big sell-off is coming after the weekend. I've missed my chance to sell. Oh well, I'm going to still leave a profit on Monday, but nothing crazy. But little did I know what was to come, which is why I'm saying just be patient with AMC. January 25th, the Monday, it closed at $76.79 and hit highs that day of $159.18. So I remember this day very, very, very clearly, obviously. Pre-market, that Monday, GameStop was going wild and it shot up, shot down, shot up and down. When it got to $125, I actually sold my call options because I had 14x my money. The $600 I had put in had gone to over $8,000. So I thought, you know what, this stock is way too volatile. I'm cutting out, I'm good here. That same day, it ran up to $150. Trading was halted, but don't worry, the fun did not stop there. Tuesday, January 26th, it closed at $147.98. The following day, it closed at $347.51, but it hit a high of $380. January 28th, it hit a daily high of $483. And January 29th, it hit a daily high of $413.98. So that was a crazy event. And Again, I relate it back to myself because I know about what happened with myself. I bought my call options at $39 in the 30s. When it hit 60s, 70s, and it dropped back down to $65 range, I thought, I'd missed my chance to sell. The following trading day, it hit highs of, $150 after I already sold at $125. And I'm like, okay, well, I've sold, I've got profit. It's going to sell off heavily. Of course, it doubled twice within the next few trading days. And I had obviously sold too early. I'm not worried. I'm not unhappy about it because I took profits. But what I'm trying to highlight here is, back then, there would have been people who bought when I sold $125. They would have sold their options then. Other people would have bought those options. Now, the same thing is happening with AMC. There are people who would have bought options at $36 and other people would have sold options at $36 on Friday. Don't worry, whichever side you're on, if you sold already, it's fine. You took profits, you left. If you bought then and you're currently down, you have plenty of time. I'm telling you guys, I experienced it firsthand. I know what it's like. And we can see a very similar situation with AMC. In fact, I think we're seeing a very similar situation with AMC right now. So expect in the first couple weeks of June for us to be updated on the short sales from the last 15 days of May. Also, I believe there are around 90 million call option shares which need to be bought back as well. Added to this, June 2nd, let's see what the AMC owner, the CEO, is going to announce. That's going to be a very interesting day. That's Wednesday. We want to see what's announced in regards to shares on that day as well. But there's different interesting news coming throughout June. If you're already in it, hold tight. It's going to be a fun ride. If you're not in it yet, wait for those dips. See what the stock does, tomorrow. I don't know how far it's going to dip. If it goes below 20s, it could fall heavily. If it stays above 20 and hangs around $21 range, that could be a nice time to buy up shares, buy call options. It's up to you how you play it. But the whole of June, this is definitely going to be an interesting one to watch. 2, Alibaba, ticker symbol BABA. So this is a stock which is sitting around $214 right now, and currently it's oversold. Now, last month they actually announced earnings, and earnings went pretty well in regards of revenue growth year on year, and unfortunately it's still sold off, which is kind of relatable to what a lot of stocks did actually last month. They had good earnings, everything went smooth, nice announcements, but unfortunately the stocks just sold off. Now, May 13th, the middle of the month, Alibaba actually hit lows of just around $205, a little bit under that. But of course, it's sitting right now just over $213, like I mentioned. And I'm going to tell you guys, that $210 to $212 range is looking very nice to buy up some Alibaba shares at a discount. Now, this stock is one you need to be patient with. It has a big future. It has sold off recently, like I said. But going forward, I can see this stock in the 250s, 270s range eventually. I don't see how it stays around the range it is right now. For those of you who are impatient, this is going to be one of those stocks you have to be patient with. It can be a frustrating stock. It can be one which barely moves. But if you're buying it, again, in the 210 to maybe even 214 range where it is right now, you are getting a good stock at a good price. If it stays at this current support level it's kind of maintaining right now, it's kind of holding at now, if it stays there long enough and doesn't break below that again, which I don't think it will, eventually it will get enough momentum and start moving upwards. Again, you just got to be patient with it. You just got to wait on it a little bit. But in these kind of scenarios, one thing you should always do is protect yourself. So if you're a bit worried about certain stocks, don't go and buy short-term expiry options on them. If you're worried about them, don't go and dump all your money into them. Maybe buy a couple shares. Maybe buy an option for July or a bit further out. Nothing too close. Nothing for next week or something like that. Give yourself enough time with these kind of stocks. I'm telling you guys, it's a stock which moves pretty sideways, and you're gonna have to be patient with it. But like I've stated multiple times, the price point that it's at now is honestly a nice buying zone. If it falls below that, still even better. So make sure you watch out for Alibaba in the 210 to 212 range and keep your eyes on what it does this month. 3, Palantir Technologies, ticker symbol PLTR. Now, I'm sure many of you guys are familiar with this one. They actually got a price target of $34 from Goldman Sachs, but that's not the reason that it's on my list. The reason it's on my list is because it's sitting at around $22.90 right now and actually dipped to around $18 in the middle of May. Now, Palantir is heavily undervalued as well, just like Alibaba, heavily oversold. And if you're looking for a stock which has long-term potential, long-term growth, this is one for you. If you're looking at a stock which could bounce back even short-term, a lot quicker than most think, this is also one for you. This is one that we're waiting to see break out, and hopefully June could be the month for that to start happening. Now, last Friday, the 28th of May, they announced a $111 million contract with the US Special Operations Command. And that means that, obviously that was good news for them, but that's more potential for long-term growth. Now, what was interesting was the stock rose on Friday, had a good, strong start today, but eventually it sold off. So now it's sitting around just under $23, and I think this is another good price point to buy. This is a stock which could see a nice uptrend soon enough. Like I stated, middle of May, this is around $18, but there's so much potential for this to run back to the highs of what, $40, $45 from back in February. The first week of June could be a nice week for the stock to see some potential growth. And another interesting event to look out for is the June 8th. They have their annual shareholders meeting, and I believe this is actually their first ever annual shareholders meeting. So that will be interesting to look in, listen in, see what's happening with that as well. But Palantir is definitely one that has that long-term potential. I honestly do not see Palantir being at the low 20s for much longer than this. Hopefully June can be that month where we see the breakout that we'd all love to see. 4. NIO, ticker symbol NIO. This is sitting around $38.60, and we would love to see this back in the 40s in June. Honestly, I would not be surprised if we see it back in the 40s the first week of June. Now, this stock is one that actually rallied really well in June 2020, so we're hoping to see a repeat of that in June of this year. Recently, NIO has started to bounce back from the lows that it saw hitting around $31 range in May, but it would be great to see a nice strong start to June starting this week. Now, right now, NIO actually have 821 institutional investors, which is the most they've ever had. To be honest, it would be nice to see them have around 1,000 institutional investors by the end of 2021, but we'll see what happens with that. For this one to move, especially short term, first week of June, first couple weeks of June, I think we need to see a lot more volume, more high volume on it. But there is a couple resistance levels I'd like to look at for NIO right now. So the first resistance, which we're looking for, is around $39.53. Hopefully it can break this, but the second resistance level is not that far away at $40.44. If NIO can break these levels within the first week, if we can break that first resistance maybe this week, or even both resistance, the first and the second this week, then we could see the real push up again. It hit highs of around $67 early this year, but of course sold off heavily since then. It sold off over 50%, and it has slowly started to recover. Long term, I think NIO have a great potential for growth as well. So this might not just be a stock to buy for June, but at the price point that it's at right now in the 30s, this could be a buy and hold for a lot longer term. By the end of the year, hopefully we do see it back at the 60s range. And if you do see it there, you'd have obviously, got an 80 or 90% return on your money, which would be lovely for a growth stock like this. But you also have to remember, as Tesla starts to push up, you will kind of see this reflected in what NIO does. So you see Tesla eventually breaking the $700 range in June, then expect to see NIO push past the $45, maybe touching the $50 mark in June as well. I'm not saying there's a direct correlation between the two, but you have to go and check the charts out. What Tesla usually does, NIO somewhat follows in some form. So keep your eyes out on Tesla as well if you do want to try and maybe gauge what could potentially happen with NIO as well. 5. JD.com, ticker symbol JD. This is another one from the Chinese sector. It's currently sitting just under the $74 mark, and it's pretty interesting because this one saw lows of around $49.92 just about a year ago at the end of May, but also saw highs of $108.29 in mid-February during that bull run. Now JD is one which is currently oversold as well, saw a bad sell-off during May, and again, during the middle of May, around May 13, it hit around $65, $66, which is a really good buying point. But don't worry if you missed out on that, it's still at a nice price point to purchase. Now, JD have a great future. This is a company whose stock is undervalued, their core business is actually undervalued, and it has so much potential for growth in the future. In the past year, they've already had enough revenue growth, which has showed positive signs. The company is making investments to expand on the business front to improve their services and of course keep up the revenue growth. And they also have, I think it's the JD arm, if I'm not mistaken. It's a part of JD which is going to IPO. I'm not exactly sure when the date is. You can probably search JD up or JD arm or JD.M, something like that. I can't remember the exact ticker, but it's going to IPO soon. It's also part of JD's model. And this is part of investing in your business model for revenue growth, for potential other opportunities, for branching out into different sectors. All of this comes from these kind of things that JD are doing. Now, right now, the actual stock's sitting at a price point which is just around support levels. Again, it's oversold right now. I see this having so much potential to recover that buying it at the prices it is right now, I don't think you can go wrong. But JD is still a volatile stock, so you need to be careful because it can easily sell off just like it did last month. But with the recent announced news and the plans to expand, I think you can't go wrong buying it at the price point it's at. Oh, and there's one other thing. Right now, JD is one of the top 8 holdings in ARKF's ARK FinTech Innovation ETF. So, when Cathie Woods is buying something, like I've told you guys multiple times, we do listen up, we do our research, we find out what could be happening there. So JD is one of the top 8 holdings in that. it's definitely worth it for you guys to check out JD a little bit more, find out more about that. And also I would like to highlight one thing which kind of holds this stock back right now is, of course, it's a Chinese sector stock, like I mentioned, which has US retailers, and US stock investors a bit worried, acting a bit more funny towards the stock. So it doesn't get as much love as it should. But I did want to highlight that for you guys if you're just wondering, why haven't I heard more about the stock? Why is this stock not performing, maybe better than it is right now? Just those kind of factors which could probably cross your mind, cross your thoughts. That is one thing to highlight, one thing to remember. So do keep that in mind as you're checking out JD. Now, I also want to add in a few different stocks just to look at, just stocks to watch, for, let's say, bonus stocks. First of all, Fubo TV, ticker symbol FUBO. This is sitting in the low 20s right now. CCIV, Lucid Motors. I'm not sure exactly what price point this stock's sitting at right now. I think it's also in the low 20s still. It might even be lower than that. I think it's at the $19 range still. But yeah, check out Lucid Motors as well. And lastly, Tattooed Chef, ticker symbol TTCF. This is sitting around low 20s as well. A lot of these growth stocks are sitting around the same price points. And also Nvidia, ticker symbol NVDA. This is a part of the tech sector. The tech sector is slowly coming back, starting to rally again as it should be. It sold off in May, but again, like I mentioned, it's coming back. But yeah, with all these stocks, look at the potential for growth, especially for the first three I mentioned there, CCIV, Fubo TV, and Tattooed Chef. Look out for the growth potential because they have a lot of room to run, a lot of space to recover. When it comes to these kind of stocks, when it comes to these investments, you guys always have to do your own due diligence, your own research, find out why there could be a buy for you, find out if you want to buy shares, if you want to purchase options, find out the lows, the highs, all that stuff, any relevant news, also earnings. Most of the stocks I've mentioned today have already had their earnings for this quarter, so you should be fine with those. But overall, I hope you guys did enjoy this video. I hope you guys now have a little bit more awareness, know what to look for going into this week, going into the rest of June. Hopefully June is a lot better than May. May was a tough month, it was a rough month, but don't worry, we're going to bounce back. Also, I want to tell you guys, check out the Discord. We talk about stocks, investing, cryptocurrency, we talk about all that, we have fun in there. So please do check out the Discord. Also check out my stock option starter pack if you're interested in learning about stock options. That's definitely going to help you get kickstarted with that. Buying up these shares of the stocks I mentioned today is one thing. Placing option trades on them is a whole different game. So make sure you guys keep yourself well informed and understand what you're doing. Manage your risk, maximize reward, all that stuff. And check out all those other links in the description. You guys know the deal by now. But check those links in the description. See what you can find there. Thanks a lot for watching today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed your 3-day weekend. And let's get back at it tomorrow. The market will be open. But I got money making. You got money making. See you guys tomorrow for another video. Peace.
Game over.